Before you buy the 2026-27 Toyota FJ Cruiser, you need to hear this first, because one wrong assumption could cost you thousands. The FJ Cruiser is back. And not quietly. Toyota is tapping straight into nostalgia, but this time they're mixing it with modern tech, better efficiency, and a completely different strategy. And that's exactly why you shouldn't rush your decision. At first glance, it looks like everything fans wanted. That boxy, rugged design is still there. The upright stance, the wide shoulders, the aggressive front. It screams off-road capability. Toyota clearly knows what made the original FJ iconic, and they've doubled down on that DNA. But here's where things get interesting. This isn't just a retro comeback. Underneath, the new FJ is expected to share its foundation with Toyota's latest global platforms, the same engineering philosophy behind vehicles like the Land Cruiser and Tacoma. That means improved structural rigidity, better ride quality, and more refined handling compared to the old model. So yes, it looks old school, but it drives very differently. And if you're someone who plans to actually use this SUV, whether it's daily driving, road trips, or serious off-roading, that difference matters more than you think. Now let's talk size and positioning, because this is where a lot of buyers could get confused. The new FJ Cruiser is not trying to be a full-size luxury SUV. It's expected to sit somewhere between compact and mid-size, making it more practical for city use while still being capable enough for trails. That sounds perfect on paper, but it also means you'll need to be clear about your expectations. If you're coming from something like a 4Runner or even considering a Land Cruiser, this might feel smaller than you expect. But if you're upgrading from a crossover and want something tougher, more adventurous, and more unique, this could hit the sweet spot. Now here's the part most people overlook. Toyota isn't just selling you a vehicle here, they're selling a lifestyle image. The FJ Cruiser has always been about identity. It's for people who want to stand out, who want something different from the usual SUVs on the road. And that emotional appeal, it's powerful. But emotional decisions can also lead to regret if you don't look at the full picture. Because while the design and branding are pulling you in, the real question is, does it actually fit your needs? In the next part, we're going deeper into performance, engine options, and what this SUV is really capable of, because this is where the FJ Cruiser could either win you over or completely change your mind. Now let's get into the part that really decides everything: performance. Because no matter how good the 2026-27 FJ Cruiser looks, if it doesn't deliver on the road and off it, none of this matters. And this is where expectations need to be managed carefully. Toyota is expected to offer multiple powertrain options for the new FJ Cruiser, and that's a big shift from the old model. Instead of just a traditional V6, we're likely looking at turbocharged engines, possibly a hybrid setup, and maybe even an electrified variant down the line. That sounds exciting, but it also changes the character of the vehicle. A turbocharged 4-cylinder engine will probably be the base option. It's more efficient, lighter, and better for daily driving. You'll get decent torque, smoother acceleration, and improved fuel economy compared to the old FJ. But if you're expecting that raw, naturally aspirated feel from the original, this might feel different. Now the hybrid option. That's where things get interesting. Toyota has been pushing hybrid performance hard, and if the FJ gets a system similar to what we've seen in the Tacoma or Land Cruiser, you're looking at stronger low-end torque, better off-road control, and surprisingly solid fuel efficiency for a rugged SUV. For off-roading, that instant torque from a hybrid system can actually be a huge advantage. And yes, this SUV is still being built with off-road capability in mind. We're expecting features like a full-time or part-time 4-wheel drive system, terrain modes, locking differentials, and high ground clearance. Toyota knows the FJ name carries serious expectations in the off-road community, so they can't afford to get this wrong. But here's the reality check. Most buyers won't take this vehicle off-road regularly. So the real question becomes, how does it behave on normal roads? And this is where the new platform makes a difference. Compared to the old FJ Cruiser, this one should feel more stable at highway speeds, more comfortable on long drives, and less tiring to live with every day. Steering, suspension tuning, and cabin noise are all expected to be improved. So yes, it's more refined. But that also means it might lose a bit of that raw, rugged edge some purists loved. Now let's talk about something buyers often underestimate: fuel economy. The older FJ wasn't exactly efficient. This time Toyota is clearly aiming to fix that. With turbocharging and hybrid tech, you can expect significantly better mileage. And in the US market, where fuel costs and daily usability matter, that's a major factor. So performance-wise, the new FJ Cruiser is shaping up to be more balanced, more efficient, and more versatile. But that balance comes with trade-offs. In the final part, we're going to break down pricing, interior, and whether this SUV is actually worth your money, or if you should be looking at something else instead. Now let's talk about the part that will ultimately decide your purchase: price, interior, and overall value. Because no matter how capable the 2026-27 FJ Cruiser is, if the pricing doesn't make sense, everything else becomes secondary. Toyota hasn't officially confirmed numbers yet, but based on its positioning, the new FJ Cruiser is expected to land somewhere in the mid-range SUV segment. That means it could sit below the Land Cruiser, but potentially close to a well-equipped 4Runner or Tacoma. And that's where things get tricky. If Toyota prices this too high, buyers might start comparing it directly with more premium SUVs that offer better interiors and more features. But if they keep it competitive, this could become one of the most attractive options in its category. Now step inside. The interior is expected to be a major upgrade over the old FJ Cruiser. You're likely getting a much more modern cabin, larger touchscreen, digital instrument cluster, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and improved materials throughout. But don't expect full luxury. Toyota will probably keep a rugged, functional theme inside. Physical buttons, durable surfaces, and a layout designed for usability rather than pure aesthetics. That's great for off-road and long-term durability. But if you're expecting a Range Rover-level interior, this isn't that. Space is another factor you need to think about. Because of its design, rear seat access and cargo space may not be as practical as some competitors. The original FJ had limitations in this area, and while Toyota will improve things, it may still not be the most family-friendly SUV in its class. So again, it comes down to how you plan to use it. Now let's answer the real question. Should you actually buy the 2026-27 Toyota FJ Cruiser? If you want something unique, something with real off-road capability, something that stands out from the sea of generic SUVs, this makes a strong case. But if your priority is maximum comfort, interior luxury, or pure practicality, there are other options that might serve you better. And that's the key point most people miss. This isn't just a vehicle. It's a specific type of vehicle for a specific type of buyer. So before you make your decision, be honest about what you really need, not just what looks exciting. Because once the hype fades, you're the one who has to live with it every day. And that's exactly why watching this before buying matters.